welcome back to Shedshop. Today we're going to go through the Rutlands Mitre Saw. I've been using it now for a few weeks and we are going to do a review, oh yes, on how it's been. Well, first of all, let me tell you, the price of this has actually gone up since I did my unboxing and it's now up to £170. I don't know what that is for the rest of the world, but that's what the internet's for, so you can find out with a nice simple Google search currency converter. But yes, it's £170 here in the UK. And before we get started, this is not a sponsored review. This is not a sponsored item. Mrs. Shedshop bought this for me out of her own money. It's mine, and no one is getting me to do this apart from me. And you guys, because I'm doing it for you guys too. So let's start with, what are my thoughts on it? I think it's fantastic. Okay, I might have just shit the bed there and gone a little bit early, but bear with me. I unboxed this. If you watched the unboxing, awesome. If you haven't, go check it out. I'll put a link to it. But since unboxing, I've maybe stuck 150, maybe 200 cuts through this. It's impressed me so far. It's still on the original factory saw blade because, well, for one, I can't replace it yet. I haven't managed to work out how to undo the screw that is a wee bit too tight. I have been in touch with Rutlands and they did tell me to undo it. That was actually their words. Just undo that screw. Well, you can undo a screw. Anyone can undo a screw, but if a screw's too tight, good luck undoing that screw. So I think I'm probably going to have to end up getting the impact driver on it to try and get it to undo. It is extraordinarily tight. So like I said, this has had 150 cuts put through it on the original thin kerf blade that this come with. And the cuts, some of the finest cuts I have made on any circular saw. It makes a nicer cut than what my table saw does. So I did have a couple of problems. Mainly it was the trench cutting facility. So I got in touch with Rutlands because in the manual it says nothing at all in the printed manual that comes with it about trench cutting. Not a sausage. So I got in touch with them and they actually sent me out a new digital version of the manual. So if you do purchase one of these, get in touch with them if they haven't amended the manual that comes with it, and they'll send you the digital version. Well, it does say about the trench cutting screw, but what it says about it is wrong. So the trench cutting screw is actually underneath this handle here. So you quite literally cannot get to it from the top. It's a physical impossibility. Not without taking the handle off, but the handle is there for the reason of it's perfectly balanced in the place that it is. I voiced my opinion to them and they sent me an email back with a workaround on how to get it to be able to be used. And apparently there's a video on the website now showing how to actually use it. So instead of being able to change it from above, as you would expect, or from the side, you have to lift the blade up and undo it from underneath. Does it work? Yes, it does work. Is it's the best workaround? Oh, hell no, not at all. It's not the best workaround at all. There could be much better ways to deal with it, but that's the way they've gone with. I suppose it's because it's the afterthought of bugger. We balls that bit up, but it's okay. It still does trench cutting facility. It just takes a little longer to set up than any other mitre saw I've ever used with trench cutting facility. Okay, right, I spoke to Rutlands in an email and they told me for trench cutting, which I need to do right now, it is this screw. But what they did tell me to do was, because you cannot get to it from the top, I mean, it's impossible, the bloody handle's in the way, they said to take it out, turn it round and put it in from underneath. So that is what I'm going to try and do. This is going to be fun. It's going on. That off. Might as well undo this by hand, right? The most ridiculous place to put this. It cannot come out because, oh look at that, it's hit the handle. I'm gonna have to screw it all the way through to the bottom then. So this big old grub screw really, along with its nut. So they're expecting me to turn this around. So this is now the bottom of it. It makes no sense, but hey ho. That's what they recommend. So it's going in upside down. I think what I might do is I might work out what size this thread is and then make a better solution. That is stupid. I'm finding a better goddamn solution. I did also voice my concerns over the on-off switch. or the safety switch as it is. It has the little lever here to, obviously you can't start it without clicking that in. But on some, I say on some, or most of the other models I've actually used, you press that little lever to actually bring the blade down as well. Well, that's not a feature on this. It's not a huge problem. It's just something you have to get used to, or something you don't have to get used to if you've not had that option to be able to use that on another mitre saw before. It cuts deep. I mean, this is an 8-inch blade, or a 210mm blade, and it can cut 70mm. That's crazy deep, but 70mm thick is really good. Now this has gone through, like I said, a lot of cuts. I've done at least 150 to 200 cuts on it in the past couple of weeks, making planters for my mother-in-law and some other jobs that I needed to do. And it's handled them fantastically. I have cut through pine, structural board, plywood, hardwood, softwood, oak and beech, and it's handled them perfectly. No burning of the wood, no marring on the wood, and a perfect cut every single time. Now I know I did get lucky, and if you do buy one of these, the chance of you getting as lucky as I did are slim to none. I got lucky because this was set up square, perfect out of the box. I'm really lucky. But you know what? I'll take it, because no one likes setting up a new piece of machinery, and every single piece of machinery you do buy for your workshop or shed shop or shed is going to need setting up. They always do. I have just been the luckiest son of a bitch there is. Thank you. Here's the other thing, a dust bag, and they don't work. Everyone knows they don't work. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. This one does. It doesn't work fantastic, but as you can see from this little snip, I managed to get a lot of wood in that, and I was cutting outside as well almost all of the time. That's amazing. How? I have no idea. There has been another couple of problems. Now the dust collection connection on this I thought would be absolutely perfect with my shop vac. Just plug that straight on. But the fact is, it didn't. I had to use two of these, because just trying to put one in there wouldn't work, because it's got a grating inside to stop anything going too deep before it touches the blade. That's safety, that's fine. No problem with that. So I had to cut one of these down by half, and then I had to heat it up and then screw it in. And then I had to use a second one to pop in there so my shop vac can actually fit. For some reason, I don't think it's an industry standard size, or if it is, then maybe my shop vac doesn't have an industry standard size, but it does seem to fit other things at no problem. That's one big gripe. I did actually have it plugged in to my shop vac, and I did use it with it, and it does actually a surprisingly good job. I know it's easily 3/4 of the amount of sawdust less than what there is with just the bag on, which is pretty damn good. So I can forgive the fact that it doesn't fit at all, and you know, it just takes a couple of quid for a couple of these to be able to make it work. No problem. I'm sure there's probably a adapter which fits absolutely perfectly. I just don't have it, and I like using these because they're cheap. You can cut them up and use them for lots of different things. Now, using this saw, I did come across a couple of problems with using it with the hold down clamp. Nothing major, apart from using it, it ended up opening up just here. I couldn't work out what was going on. Also, if you watch the original video, you'll notice that I had quite a problem with this getting stuck, and I thought I'd broken it after my first use of it, or first play with it. But it's worked its way loose and has the ability to go up and down quite easily now. Obviously it just came from a bit of wear from usage. Now when this went down, the quick release, this opened up even more. So the way round that is there is a little screw just inside here. From doing it up, that doesn't open up anywhere near as much anymore. I think it opens because it's only that screw that seems to hold it. And there's a lot of pressure that is applied when this goes down and uses its cam action to clamp it. Also, the foot became stupidly loose. I didn't realise until I'd finished making all my cuts. But same again, there's a screw on that, and that really was loose, so I cranked that tight. And then this pivot pin on the back, that came loose, and that's a screw there too. And now that is dead tight and doesn't move. Just things to look out for if you do get one. Luckily, it does come with an Allen key with a screwdriver head on the end, which absolutely takes care of every single, almost every single screw and Allen key on this. Excellent, thank you very much. It's a good idea, it's a good thought out thing. Fact is, everyone's got these anyway. There is one that it doesn't fit though, and that of course is the trench cutting screw. So it has a fantastic smooth action on these rails. I've had absolutely no problem with them, which is nice, and the fact that you can lock them off absolutely wherever you need is brilliant. The light on it for the shadow line, oh, I tell you what, I have been jealous of the DeWalt for so long over that feature that I have looked at the double laser lines on the Bosches and on some of the other saws where they have twin laser. I mean, you're still looking around 500 for you know, a cheap one with twin laser, purely because nothing else had that shadow line technology. Well, in fact, this has that shadow line technology, and it works so well because you have a light that shines above the blade to give you the thickness of the blade. So if you change that blade out, when I eventually work out how to undo that ruddy screw, when I can eventually change that blade out and change it for maybe a thicker one or even a thinner curved one or more toothed, then oh my god, it's going to be amazing, because it doesn't need to have lasers moved to adjust to the thickness of that blade. It's just a shadow from a light which instantly does it for you. Come on, who doesn't want that? Now, I have done some mitre cutting on this at 45 degrees and at 44.5 because I needed a 44.5. Awesome. You just undo it, move it around, and then do it up if it's at a stupid angle that, you know, doesn't have positive stop, or you just whack it in that positive stop and then just do it up tight anyway. Amazing. I managed to do multiple repeatable cuts going from 45 to 90 to 45 to 90 to 45 to 90 to 45 to 45 on the other side, and it came out absolutely perfect every single time. So I'm very, very happy with that. I will tell you to keep an eye on your bevel screw on the back. This whacking great thing here, it does come undone if you're not careful, and I did notice that when I leant on the saw and it moved. So just tighten that back up if you need to. Of course, there is the other thing that you do need to do, because any self-respecting mitre saw owner is going to want to do this, and that is to put on a sacrificial fence. Stuck my sacrificial fence on. The cuts I get now are absolutely amazing. The least amount of tear out. In fact, I don't think I've had any tear out, have I? No, none at all. Unbelievable. The fact it's aluminium, so it's not going to rust. The only things on here I think might need protecting is going to be obviously your saw blade. It's going to be these rails because they are steel. And other than that, that's it. Everything else is cast aluminium. Even this whole body is cast aluminium. You can't ask better for no rusting, right? When you have a thin piece of wood and you do want to use this quick release clamp, it can sometimes get in the way of this. So if you're coming out, it will, maybe, possibly, hit the hold down arm. So yeah, just be careful on what you're going to be using it for or how you're going to use it, because yeah, that hold down clamp does sometimes get in the way of that. So would I recommend this? Absolutely. Would I say £170, because it's gone up by that 20 quid, is a good price for it? Absolutely. For that price, yes, you can get a cheap, bigger bladed saw, but you're not going to get the features that you get on this. You're not going to get something as light as, well, I don't think you get anything as light as this or as solid as this. And that's the thing, is it has to be solid, right? It's a fantastic bit of kit. I don't believe it has an electronic brake because it's direct drive. The motor literally connects to the blade. So I don't think it needs an electronic brake. it slows down quite fast enough. As long as you use common sense when using it, then you shouldn't ever get hurt. Obviously there is the proper ways to use a mitre saw, and there's lots of videos on YouTube to be able to see that. So if you want one of these, head off to Rutlands. They send to over 200 countries around the world. It comes with a 3-year warranty. So if you have any problems in 3 years, they'll either repair or replace, I do believe. And I suppose if they can't repair or replace, then I don't know, maybe a refund or a credit. I'm not sure how that one works. I've never, touch wood, had to send anything back to Rutlands yet, because all the tools I've had from them have been bob on.
The only setback is you've got to send an email because there's no phone contact.
Well, not that I could find, but that's okay. They have a contact us on their website, and they do tend to get back as quick as they can, and if they don't, just send another one. But that's been my review for the Rutlands Mitre Saw. I urge you to go check out the website. It's www.rutlands.com. I'll have it down here somewhere, and it'll also be in the description with a link. Thank you for watching Little Shedshop. Why don't you check out some other videos, including the unboxing of this if you haven't already, and give it a like. Click for notifications. Don't forget to subscribe because it doesn't cost anything, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching.